Can we change any rules to make the NBA a little or maybe even a lot better? And how many rule changes would impact the Pacers? Rick Carlisle is very sharp with the rules. Dave Searle and I are going to break it all down today on the Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers, as always. My name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes, and today, really fun episode, continuing the tour of stuff people told me they wanted to do in the offseason. Dave Searle's going to join today. We're going to talk about some NBA rule changes that would make the league better, get out some crap we hate, make some stuff better or more optimized, and in many cases help the Pacers, or in one case, quite early, maybe not help the Pacers, because Rick Carlisle is very good at challenges. Really fun episode today. One drastic change for me, a lot of little subtle things that would make the league more fair and better, including discussion of recent actual changes made by the league to Heaves and to the All-Star game and so much more. Really fun episode. Let's just get right to it. The NBA is great. Let's make it better by changing some of the rules just a little, or maybe quite a lot in some cases. Continuing my tour of podcasts that people said they wanted to do during the season, but admitted that it was a good offseason podcast. Today, the podfather himself, Dave Searle, is here because he said, I want to talk about NBA rule changes. And I was like, that's a good idea, because I have many ideas. Lo and behold, the NBA announced their own changes of rules. The Pacers are an interesting rules team to talk about. But Dave, how are you? Are you excited to finally do this after you suggested it to me 6 months ago, a long time ago?
I am very excited. This is some of the rule changes that I think would be the best would just take way too long to try to explain, like on Twitter or something. And so this is really the only format in which this kind of stuff can shine. So I am excited to. It's been rattling around in my head for quite a long time. This will get it out at least, and that will help me. And then maybe it can help the basketball world. That would be my dream.
So a couple things to make this topical and be about the Pacers. Mm-hmm. One, Pacers related. Any change to the challenge structure is a slight problem for the Pacers. Rick Carlisle is very good at challenges. 8th in the league last year in success rate. And if you watch him, not only is he above average on reviews, he very rarely does it early. He was among the lowest frequency guys in the first quarter. I actually think it's a bit overstated, the extent that teams should wait until the fourth quarter. Like if a challenge takes a foul and a basket off the board, it has the same value in the first and fourth quarter. I get why saving it is better. Like every team does it less in the first quarter than late. But Rick's good at it, right? First quarter is the highest overturn rate because that's the quarter that you have to be the most confident to do it. So anything that we do that changes the challenges would hurt the Pacers. The other thing that happened in the NBA, the All-Star game format got changed again. That's not a rule thing. I hate it. Not that I hate USA versus World. I just stop guessing. Just stop doing the game. No one cares. And the other rule is Heaves. If you miss, it doesn't count. So on one hand, Tony likes it because I like seeing Heaves. Good. More guys will take them. On the other hand, I hate it because it only counts if you make it. My rule would be make or miss. Both don't count. That would be
no. I don't agree.
Because I think that this is a risk-free for your percentages shot. You should not get the benefit if you make it, but no harm if you miss.
Why?
Well, because I want to encourage guys to take it, but I also don't think they should only get a benefit for making it. That seems wrong to me.
Why?
Because it seems wrong that it's a risk-free shot. What if you have a contract bonus for hitting 40% from three and you're like 39.9? Just chuck 50 half-court shots in a game. Eventually you want to go in and boom, you're there.
You really think that's a real problem?
No, I'm just saying I don't like that the miss does not count and a make does. It doesn't seem right to me.
No, that's exactly what I would do. I've pitched that exact rule forever, and I'm sure many people have said the exact same thing.
I'm happy about Heaves, to be clear. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, but it should count if you make it, because what's 3-point percentage, measuring is, how much you contribute from the 3-point line and the efficiency with which you do so. If you make a he from half court, the only time you would take it, you say it's risk-free, but it is risk-free. Like, that's the only time that it happens. Like, it's at the end of a game. Potentially, I mean, like, even if it's in a desperation, because that's the best shot you can get, it's still somewhat risk-free because you're not giving up a better shot to take a heave. You never give up a better opportunity to give a heave, and you only take it when there's nothing else to do. So it is risk-free. And so the measurement should be risk-free because that also reflects what the attempt is within the context of the game. But then if you make it 3, it counts as 3 points, and it's a big boost for the team. And so it does count, and it is meaningful, and it is a points that you're contributing to the scoreboard. So the risk is God. It has nothing to do with any part of the offense or your efficiency on the court. It has nothing to do with like any statistical measurement of your performance on the court. But if you make it, it still counts as points. That's exactly what is happening, and that's exactly how it's being statistically marked. It's perfect.
Risk-free for a player's shooting percentage, not a team's chance of winning, to be clear, is what I meant.
Well, but both. It's still both.
We are rewarding cowardice too much.
We're rewarding cowardice?
I love Peyton Pritchard, man. He lets it fly. Doesn't care about the percentages. Let it go, baby. Why are we rewarding those who don't do it? You know what? We both like this change. Let's fix it.
I don't follow you, but go move on.
Let's make forward-thinking suggestions about the NBA. And you have some, and I have many, including a zany one. Give me one rule that you would change to make the NBA a better place.
Okay, so this would be the number one, by far, in a way, the rule that I would do. Unfortunately, it's not a very sexy rule. Like people will say, "Oh, you should make it like if you shoot it from the opposing lane, then that should be 4 points," or like something crazy and wacky and that sort of stuff. Not like it at all. This is a very technical change to the rules. I think would vastly improve the NBA. Okay, blocking fouls should be legal for primary defenders when they are in the paint. Blocking foul should be legal if you're a primary defender and you are in the paint. Okay, so let's remember what a blocking foul is. If you're using your body, you're not in legal guarding position, you're kind of sliding with the hip, kind of moving a shoulder, you're going off balance, and you're kind of throwing your body in the way to block somebody as they're moving past you. That's a blocking foul. You slap them on the wrist, that's a different kind of foul, right? But if you use that body to try to impede their movement and you're not in legal guarding position, that's a foul, right? And the reason why I would legalize it in the paint is that the biggest problem that the NBA is having is ball handlers who can shoot threes off the dribble from 28 feet and also have incredible handles and also are very fast and also have a wide range of offensive skills, are moving all over the court. And then they have centers who can shoot threes, who are setting screens for them. And it's like impossible to just completely stick the defender from the perimeter to the rim. And so the ball handler is momentarily breaking free one way or the other, however you end up covering it. And then when the primary defender gets back on that player, whoever it is, then if they have a little bit of a seam, if they work that seam, almost any contact is automatically a foul. And so that's when, James Harden is like swooping his arms in, and that's when you see all these guys that they call foul baiters. You can argue about the ethics of that and the flopping and all that sort of jazz, but the fact is they're drawing blocking fouls.
Right.
And it's just impossible at that point to stay in front of it. And I feel if you are that close to the rim, there's too many good offensive opportunities. And again, people are shooting it from 28 feet with not much of a problem. If you get that close, then if a defender has to slide their hips slightly to stay in front of you, you should have to beat them, right? You shouldn't just be getting awarded for a little bit of a seam. You have to beat them hard in order to get a clean look. And if they do have a little bit of that sliding, then that's okay. Now remember, if they reach with an arm and slap you, that is still a foul.
Yep.
If the center comes out and meets you at the rim and slides, that's still a foul.
Love it.
If the primary defender, if you go over the top of a screen and you're with a driving player, you're on their hip, but you're to their side, you're trying to cut them off as much as possible. You're not initiating contact. You're just trying to absorb as much space as you can on their hip. If that offensive player just juts to the side into you, that right now is a foul on the defender, but under my rule would no longer be a foul. So that's what I think you should. But the primary defender has to have 1 foot in the paint. or, it has to be touching the paint with a foot, right?
Sure.
As long as one foot is
the same three in the key rules apply to their feet, basically. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
This is
sort of. I mean, yeah, basically, yeah.
I cannot recommend this as a YouTube episode enough to see Dave half act out what he is explaining to everybody.
It's a very narrow vertical window. So
I like this because
there's a lot of shoulder movement.
So many times with this kind of foul you're describing, something that always gets said is like, who's entitled to the space? And I hate that, like, that concept generally. Like, no one's entitled to a space. You're both moving at the same time, and those fouls always look so weird. And I get that, like, you're reacting to the ball. So the guy with the ball is generally the one who gets to the space first, or is generalized as entitled to it. But then you get silly fouls, and like the closer they get to the rim, the more a direction changes the angle of what they're doing. And that's why those fouls happen so often. It's like it gets to a point where the angle change is going to give them a wide open shot. They slide to stop it, and then a foul is called. So if you do it in the paint, or like a dramatized charging that's like 12 feet out or something, yeah, I would be on board with that. And that is a foul that sucks. A lot of times it looks like two guys running alongside each other, and then all of a sudden a foul is called, and everyone's like, wait, what happened there? And that's why it was called. And it just looks weird. It looks stupid. And it's like every time that one's called too, the defender goes, oh, what was I supposed to do? Right. And I tend to agree with them. Can I add to that interaction ever so slightly? Everybody, quick break. We got to talk about Monarch Money. Most people cannot name all of their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And you don't have the full picture? You can end up leaving money on the table. That is where Monarch Money comes in. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. They do the heavy lifting for you. You can link your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally, feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. You can see that you're not saving as much as you thought. They'll help you notice inefficient investment allocations or discover forgotten 401ks. You can maximize your investments, increase your savings rate, easily review your finances with a partner and or an advisor, keeping a clear view of your financial health week to week and long term. So do not let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com or in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code LOCKEDONNBA. The rule that they have to enforce or change the wording of to make it enforceable is the same thing when the player's going into their primary defender in the lane and they use their off arm while dribbling to shove their defender away to create space. Call the offensive foul, man. And to be clear, this is a Pacers show, Obi Toppin would get a lot of offensive fouls from this. Obi Toppin does this quite a bit. I call this in my head the Jason Tatum shot. He is a master of it. They played the Pacers this season once. He did it to Ben Shepherd 3 possessions in a row, right? Like that one, when they get closer to the basket, like you're saying, the defender's trying to move with them and they just move them. I'm like, dude, if the defender did that, they'd call a foul immediately, right? So I think we should blend these together and allow more contact between a primary defender and an attacker going towards the rim. Obviously within reason of safety, to make it fair for both players, because currently it's too unfair for the offensive player because of both of these things.
Yeah. And then to start the offense, when you're kind of jockeying for position, maybe it's off the ball or with the ball, you're doing that initial screen. Blocking fouls are still in effect. I mean, it'd be too easy to stop that initial movement of an offensive player. Blocking fouls are really important when you're that far away from the basket. So that would still be completely intact. I got another one that's a little bit of a cousin of it that solves the other, I think, major issue that people get upset with kind of these calls. I call it the closeout grace period. Okay. So if you got a player on the perimeter and a defender slacked off of that player,
okay,
ball swings to that player. If the defender closes out on that player and they move in a direct line, so between the basket and the player, right? They're moving in a almost like a base path, right? You're moving straight towards the player. You can't obviously run all the way through the player. That doesn't count. But if you stay square to that movement, if that player pump fakes and drives around, as long as you stay square, you don't slide to the side, and you stay up in front of the defender, you don't get a blocking foul.
Yeah, I hate that one.
You understand what I'm saying?
And yes, and this is a good YouTube one too, because how many times does the player who goes to the side a little bit do this when they get hit by the player? They go, whoa, and like act like they're like completely impeded from stepping to the side. Like, you didn't have to go right where that guy was.
Exactly. And so, the offensive player, if you want to pump fake and dribble around, if you bump their hip, if they stay square, they don't slide to the side and they kind of let you go, that you're still running towards them a little bit, but you're kind of letting them go and you're not trying to slide to the side to block them. If you bump the hips a little bit, you just bumped hips. That's your choice. You chose to drive it. If that defender runs up it and then just at the very end just like shimmies over, that's a blocking foul, right?
Yeah, I get that.
But if they keep still and they kind of come to a stop and you run around, then they're allowed to touch you. And that's the other thing. That's the the Embiid foul. He gets that all the time, right? So somebody tries to and he's so big, but he people go
nice skinny now. Look at the Sixers pictures, man. Look at him go.
Yeah. Well, it's that he's going to be a little bit more agile. That's probably going to happen more and more and more. But that's that you catch it, defender runs out, they start that they do the move the same time when you're about to get there. Easy foul call. It's just kind of a stupid foul call. As long as they're not reaching with their arms, and as long as they're not sliding, if you want to try to get around them, that's on you, and the contact is legal. That'd be the other one. The closeout grace period is what.
Can we tie all these defender ball handler interactions together? We won't go too long on this because it's been debated to the moon and back, but are you a ban the Charger?
No. This is so stupid.
I am a ban the Charger.
Oh no, God.
I don't want to do this forever because it's been done a million times. It's not a basketball play at all.
Just change the name of the sport. It's going to be a whole different sport. If you ban the charge, defense will be illegal. It's insane. Explain to me how you would ban the charge. What would be the actual rule?
You can't. It's just always sliding in front of you're not playing the ball. You're playing the player.
You can't slide.
You're playing a person. You're getting in the person's way on purpose. Oftentimes so late.
Yes, that's what defense is.
You're going to get hurt. No. You just said if they have time to get out of the way, you would not make it a defensive foul. They never do in the NBA. These players are too fast. That's why guys get hurt all the freaking time.
No. Okay. Well,
if they're like running full speed for 50 feet and slam into you, yeah, that's a charge. But
what's your pitch? What's the rule? How do you change the rules to make?
Yeah, I don't know. It cannot. But it can. The answer cannot be intentionally getting in someone's way and playing the man, not the ball. You're not making a play on the ball. You're covering your nuts with your hands half the time.
You play. Yeah, you block people from getting to the rim. That's what defense is. But. What part of the problem?
Then keep moving and stand in front of them and keep your hands up.
Well, if they're running right at you,
then stay with them. Move your hips. If you already got beat, you got to do it a different way.
If a player is moving to the basket and you're between that player and the basket, what do? You are just stopping them. All you can do is run
other than standing perfectly still at the last second.
They're supposed to run towards the ball carrier and make it harder.
No.
Sense. But here's the problem.
It's such a dangerous play.
Well, it is when it's not enforced well. And
it is poorly enforced. That's it. You're right. Well, what's funny is a lot of my rule changes we're going to get. You're right.
Yeah.
A lot of my rule changes today are purely enforcement things too. And that is one of them that I think charges are very poorly enforced.
100%. And it gives it the bad name. And
that is definitely true.
You have to be completely, if you want to draw a charge as an off-ball defender, right? It's different than when you're on ball. We talk about primary and off-ball defenders. And this is the situation you're talking about, but if you're an off-ball defender trying to draw a charge, you have to be completely set before they go into the motion of their action. So if they're about to do a layup, if they start to gather and go up, you have to be set then.
I agree.
If you're not, it's a block, and they don't call it that way. And so they start to rise. A player's starting to rise up, and Marcus Smart or whatever, he's just about finished, and he slides in, and it's just they'll show a replay, and they'll go frame by frame, and then right before contact, he's already gathered, he's already jumping, and right before contact, he's halfway kind of still for a millisecond, it's a charge. I'm it's not a charge. That's not what the rule is at all.
They also get the opposite wrong a lot, where the defender's clearly there, but their foot is moving a millimeter, and they're that's a blocking foul. His foot's moving. I'm no, come on.
You don't have to be completely still. No,
that's a rule that fans don't know correctly. The other one is over the back is not a thing. Like you can
Yes,
grab the
I
ball.
know.
You can grab the ball over somebody. That's fine. That's legal.
I wonder if
You can't jump on them.
if my nephew Matthew is listening. I've had this conversation with him many times. That there is the over the back rule does not exist. It's not a thing at all.
People are like,
but you can't foul somebody in that fashion.
Yeah,
but you can legally go over someone's back. You just can't slam into someone who's standing still. You know, it doesn't work. So yeah.
All right.
But a lot of issues, honestly, with officiating, complaints that people have. A fairly decent chunk of it is just kind of not understanding like granular part of the rules, which is totally fine. I mean, it's like that's nobody's a lesser sports fan for not being a nerd about the rules. But
a lot of it does get misunderstood.
Yeah.
I've wanted to tweet this like a million times, and it always would feel like I'm directly tweeting it at somebody during the season. So it's the offseason. It's the perfect time. If you think the refs suck every game, it's not that the refs suck. It's that your expectation of the refs sucks. Okay? They're not bad every game. In fact, I usually don't even notice when people think refs are bad. And I'm like, yeah, but it was fine. It's just how it was. Like, I can't believe how many people complain about it every game.
It's one of the universal laws of life. If you think drivers suck every day, you're probably the bad driver. If you think everybody around you is an idiot, you're probably the idiot. If you think everybody around you is a jerk, you're probably a jerk.
That's a great point. That is a great point. And as somebody who thinks there are a lot of bad drivers, and my wife tells me I'm a bad driver, I could not relate more to what you just said. Okay, can I do a few little ones? One more break here, guys. We got to talk about 5-Hour Energy. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-Hour Energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What many love most is how portable they are. Big taste in a tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get that boost when you need it. There's always a favorite flavor for everybody different. They're all refreshing. They give you that quick lift before a busy day. It's perfect for something you want to try next. If you want a replacement for coffee or even just adding to your caffeine craving. And it kicks in fast. It's sugar-free. You don't have to worry about crashing later. Enough with the boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-Hour Energy shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in-store and online at 5hourenergy.com. That's the number 5hourenergy.com, or check it out on Amazon today. Have you heard Nick Wright's idea about reviews? It is one of the best rule changes ideas I've ever heard.
I think so, but tell me what it is.
Okay, so every team has 2, 3, 4 players who constantly the whole game are waving their hand up for a review every time the whistle blows. Every time the whistle blows for an interaction that they're involved in, right? They want to review it. It's so annoying. Sometimes the play is still happening and they're doing it. It ruins the game. They look whiny. So Nick Wright's idea Nick Wright is funny sometimes. I don't always agree with him, but I totally agree with this one. If you call a timeout and do the T with your hands, that is binding. The ref will call the timeout no matter who it was, coach, assistant, player. Timeout is called immediately. So there already is a rule for hand motion equals trigger event. If you do this, Nick Wright says it should be binding. That automatically triggers your review and your only challenge of the game unless you get it right. I love it. It would make everybody stop doing that. I absolutely love that idea. I hope they actually put that in, even though they won't.
See, as a fan of like trash talk and taunting, I actually like I'm in the minority, I think. I love it when it's just like, nope, spin the finger. Nope, I didn't do it. Nope, I didn't do it. It's even funnier when they totally did it.
Yeah, but like,
it doesn't bother me at all.
It would be more impactful as trash talk if it was like they do it once every 3 games and they mean it. You know what I mean? Like if Andrew Nembhard calls for review, I'm like, oh, he thinks it's wrong. He never calls for review. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it would be cool if they like really meant it and had to think about it.
Yeah, no, that's I mean, I don't think players should be calling reviews for that kind of
so stop doing it. Just stop calling for reviews. Okay, 2 more little ones also. This is definitely an enforcement thing, not an actual change. You have penalties in place for flopping. Call flops, penalize flops, get it out of your game somehow. It's horrible. No fan likes it. Not a single one. It just sucks.
And I know that people are concerned about it's like that's obviously very subjective, but like make it like I think that people would accept it as sort of like an old school balls and strikes thing in baseball, where it's like a referee just has a discretion.
Yeah,
that's a flop. That's not a flop. I mean, like you're going to get some wrong. You're not going to get everything right. And there's going to be some disagreements, but it's just like basketball is a subjectively officiated sport. It's unavoidable. People sometimes try to pretend like, oh, we got to figure out what's objective and there's a reason why they have replay in basketball, but you can review like that percentage of things because everything else is just subjective. It's like, right. It's like impossible to really nail down. And so, yeah, I think that, let it go, I say. Yeah.
Last enforcement thing before I let you go on to more changes. I am a fan of getting calls right. Don't get me wrong. Either fewer reviews, like a literal cap per game, or a shot clock on reviews. It's crazy how many games I'm just like sitting waiting for 10 minutes. Like that's stupid. That no one likes this. It's not worth the one call a game to me.
I feel like technology should be like maybe a little bit better on this. One thing that I think is really weird is that it takes so long to like get to like an iPad and like get the play up and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they could improve that part of it? Like part of what would make it a little bit better is just being sharper on how that works. I do think that we will live in a world where every sport has at least one referee that's not there or is only like in a TV production booth and that is reviewing it. It's just becoming, if you would have done that when replay was first introduced, people would have rioted. But now I think everybody like kind of wants it. And so I think that they will add one and that will kind of help and they could just do it a little instantaneously. But this is kind of a small thing that I was going to say anyway.
Go on some changes. Like, I did a bunch of things in a row.
A timeout quick challenge. Like, you know, during a timeout, the referees are just kind of standing there. If it's a quick thing like out of bounds play, I think that team should have kind of an unlimited ability to say, if you call a timeout immediately after an event that you want looked at that's like out of bounds, you can have an assistant coach kind of communicate that to make it as quick as possible, but just say during the period of the timeout, instead of standing on the sidelines and like chatting with the usher, just go over to the iPad, look at the last thing, just double check it. And then, you know, if we're right, cool, we get the ball. If not, and then, you know, once the timeout is over, if there wasn't enough time to really look at it, just say, hey, it was too close. We got a couple angles.
I like this.
Say it, we're sticking with the call. And then it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, out of bounds calls are important in some ways, but they're not crucially important. And I think that they are within the scope of being able to say, here's a timeout, go look at it. There's a limited amount of time. If we couldn't get to it, no big deal. You know, like I think that would be a system that could work. And you might see some coaches kind of, everybody wants an advantage and they might get annoyed when it doesn't go completely their way. But I think that system would work. And for small things like that, or, hey, you know, I guess I know they review it anyway, but, you know, that was a 3 out of 2, that kind of stuff. I mean, that would, I think that would make sense. This is a little silly. This isn't a serious proposal, but I think it would also be funny if after a foul call during a timeout, a coach could make the referees look at it and say what they saw and say, I want you to look at it in slow motion just to see what I saw and like double check my own vision and like look at your mistake. That's not a serious proposal, but that would be pretty fun.
Bring the Patrick Beverly camera out every time out to show the ref. That's what you're saying. All right, give me a few in a row, please.
Actually, I really just got one more. Really?
Okay,
one more,
good. I have 2 more. So I'll go one, and then you go one, and then I'll get my zany one on you. Okay.
Go for it.
I would like the FIBA rule in the NBA with rim interference. So if once it hits the rim, you can touch it, you can hit it, you can do anything with it. It makes it easier to defend. It makes it harder for threes to go in. It just makes for a more physical based, balanced game playing in the paint, because even in FIBA where the 3-point line is shorter, the game is still played with more inside play. And I think that would add some balance to the NBA in a way that they kind of need. And it doesn't take away anything. It's fun. It's exciting. It makes rebounders and guys who can jump more important. I'm all for that.
I like it.
Okay, good.
I'm in.
You're up.
I think that offensive screens should be moved from quote unquote blocking rules to move to blocking rules instead of like charge rules. And this is what I mean. In essence, for blocking for a screen, it's officiated in the same way that like it would be to draw a charge. Like you're supposed to get set. You're supposed to give the defender a step or two to be able to anticipate it. and you get completely still, get in the way, and then that's like a good clean block. And if you're moving or if you set it too quickly before the defender gets there, then that is supposed to be an illegal screen. But I think that the game has evolved to a point where, defenders are communicating at a very high level, and there's a lot of athleticism and a lot of, you just have players that are just too good at avoiding screens now. That's part of the problem with so many illegal screens, is that defenses are sophisticated enough, defenders are trying hard enough, and they're athletic enough that it's really hard to get a clean screen anymore without bending the rules. So they're already kind of officiating it this way, but like a block, if you are square to the defender, even if you're moving side to side, that is a legal screen. If you're obviously leaning, sliding, if you're trying to move the shoulder over, if you're taking that one extra step and doing a hip check, that's still a foul. But legalize and formalize in the rules the ability to still be moving and sync up with somebody to be able to set a screen. Because it's already kind of happening that way. And then this way, there's clarity to it. There's not a lot of people complaining back and forth about it. And most crucially, they tend to feel like they blow the whistle on this in like the final 5 minutes for like the first time. And it drives everybody insane. Like, this is how screens have been happening the entire game, and now it's being called. But yeah, I think that would make it a little bit more clear, and would make the game a little bit smoother. And I think that the defenders are athletic enough to not make this an enormous advantage for the offense.
I'm with that. And a lot of players want clarity on illegal screens too, because of what you just said. There's always the one a game where everyone's like, dude, like every single screen's been this the whole game. Why are you just now calling this?
Yeah. And by the letter of the rules, there's like 2 legal screens a game. They're all illegal.
Well, kind of. So that's the other part of this for refs. It's hard, is like, look, I get what centers are doing, or whoever setting the screen is doing. Like, I'm not dumb, but it's so hard to like theoretically blur the lines between like, I'm just cutting over there, versus like, right, when is he actually transitioning to like, that is the act of setting a screen, versus like he just happens to be running where the defender is after releasing from a screen, right? Like, does he have to stand there for a certain amount of time for it to be a screen? No. So like, it's so hard for them to do that. And so many fans go, oh my gosh, this center's setting a million illegal screens. I'm like, okay, slippery slope, dude. Like, your team center is also doing the same thing. Yeah. Like, every center does this because it's how screens are now. And so I agree with you that like, kind of, you could call an illegal screen on like every screen in some ways, but at the same time, it's such like a blurred spot of like, when is it actually a screen? Right.
That is a harder thing to do, like pretending to do some other basketball action in order to steal somebody off. But, it kind of goes into that flopping area of, that was a real roll. That was a roll when the defender got cut up versus, you're just doing that to peel somebody off. There has to be a little bit of that, unfortunately.
You don't stick your butt out every time you set a screen, right? Like, that one is obvious. Like, come on, be for real. The Sabonis, Marcin Gortat, like, put your hands on your hips so you're twice as wide screen is always a good one. You're hooking every player, dude. Yeah, I like that screen. Again, like, so the screening enforcement is so challenging too. It's almost like holding it a little bit of a way to me, where it's like, in theory they could call this every play, but like, that would suck,
Right.
Like a non-enforcement thing no one cares about. It's like, no player ever gets 2 feet out of bounds after they grab a made shot. Like, who cares, right? Just go play, Screens are in a touch and go situation to me too, or it's very challenging. You have no more?
No. I wanted to keep it tight. I wanted to keep it to the best stuff. Maybe we'll have to do a part 2 one day.
Can I present to you the absolute wildest NBA idea I have?
I can't wait.
Okay. Okay, hold on. Let me back up first. We've already established that heaves are good and buzzer beaters are fun. I have a way to make the end of every quarter fun and potentially reduce the amount of time players are playing to reduce injury. Does this sound good to you?
Yeah, cool. I'm ready to buy, Tony. What you got to sell?
Are you aware of what match play is in golf?
No. Explain it to me.
So instead of like, if we play 3 holes and I get 3 threes, I have 9, and you get 3, 3, 4, you have 10. The 2 holes that we both got a 3 on, neither of us get anything. And then the hole that I beat you on, I'd get like a point basically. And I'd be called one up. Yeah. And then if you won a hole, we'd be even again. So my idea is a match play NBA where every quarter is that. So if it's 25-26 at the end of the first quarter, that possession, or even a chance to get to 27 is huge. You could win the quarter. And if you win 3 quarters, you win the game. If you win the first 3 quarters, game's over. You've reduced a quarter of some games. Just cut them off. If it's 2-1, you play the fourth. And then guess what? After the fourth quarter, total score can still be your tiebreaker. So keeping score the same way is still a thing that's going to matter. You still need to try to be scoring as much as you can, even in the quarters where you go up 30-5 immediately. So you would now have a game a week that you only play 3 quarters. So your load of games has reduced. There's way more buzzer beaters and excitement to win quarters. And there's no change to the actual scoring of the game. I see no downsides.
First of all, have you been watching the Savannah Bananas?
I have not.
This is kind of what they do. Is their way to keep baseball competitive. If there's a blowout inning, it only counts as 1.
Okay, that's good. I like that.
But then they do
that too. Blowout first quarter doesn't immediately end the game. I didn't even think of that.
They did this this was the All-Star game for a while, right? They had the win the quarter thing. They did that. Am I dreaming? I mean, it's.
Oh, you could combine the old All-Star game thing of Elon Mendick. Just play every quarter to 30 or something.
I love the Elon ending. I
also like Elon Mendick. Yes.
Yeah. You said some games would be 3 quarters instead. I feel like if I paid to see a basketball game and it was over in 3 quarters, I'd be a little annoyed.
Dang it. Yeah. Okay. But are you offsetting the loss of money from those unhappy customers with happier customers who more often get to see the best players play because they get hurt less because they're playing less?
No, I don't give a damn about
Is the
that.
product better enough via the many buzzer beater opportunities I have added to offset the disappointment of 3 quarters?
Do you know how you get around like the disappointment of missing a player if they get injured or something like that? Watch more basketball. Don't watch like 3 games. I'm sorry that LeBron was playing the one game you paid attention to in the regular season, but I don't care about you. I care about basketball fans. Anyway, Joni, I hate your idea with a burning passion. I'm sorry about that. And one of the things that I really love about basketball, which is why it is my favorite sport by far over other sports, is that every moment counts. Like, every
still does. Total score.
No,
matters.
It doesn't. No,
total score matters.
Maybe it matters, but it could be over in 3 quarters.
The one situation that would make my game suck is like if you win the first 3 quarters by 1 point each, right? So it's like 91-88 and the game's just over. Like that shouldn't be over, right? But the added excitement is there, man. It's there.
I mean, it's a game of runs. There's like the game ebbs and flows, and there's no ebb and flow. You're flattening out the 1s and 0s. I hate it. I'm sorry, Tony. I hate that so much. I would be
first quarter, 12 minutes of starters versus starters. I'm all about it. I mean,
like if you want to do like the Drew League or something with some crazy rules like that, that's when that would be fun. And the NBA would drive me absolutely insane.
Ouch.
No. Well, okay, so I have an idea. We could take a period of time, and then like if you score the most points within that period of time, then you get a 1, right?
Like a win.
And then you keep track of that at the end of the season to make the standings. So then make it a period of 4 quarters. And if there's a tie, just 5-minute overtime.
You lost it.
You just like.
So how many points are shots worth? You lost
me. 2 inside the 3 outside. No, it's like what you're saying exists. It's just a whole game, and then it's just a schedule, right? Like, the 4 quarters are a boundary of time in which you take the point differential and you award them a 1, and that 1 is the win, right? That already happens. It's just longer. Do you see what I'm saying? You're just basically like you're playing 3-4 mini games. You're playing like a 4-game mini series, and then having
cool.
Total points of. Oh, it sounds like soccer, dude. Don't turn this into soccer.
I have
so few pleasures left in life, Tony. If you turn basketball into soccer, I will be so mad at you.
It's like, I already described the example, but it's like 25-26 in the end of the first quarter, and the team with 25 is the ball and they miss. Like, I want to feel like agony in that moment, you know? Like the clock is an added defender. Everybody's excited about a buzzer beater. Oh, dang it, we missed. Like that would be cool to me. And that's why I have come up with this idea.
I could see that. That is the, like, you know, I don't.
They're going to try it out in the G League this year, Dave. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, there you go.
As they always do.
If we can't rewire our brains to really appreciate like the E-line ending a lot, it is kind of cool that every game ends on a shot. Like that's a pretty cool deal. And like,
I agree.
Part of me does. I know it'll never be adopted, but I kind of wish that they had thought of that like in the beginning of basketball, because I think that would be beloved. But it's just hard to like mentally switch that. I think that the time part does sort of matter, because when you put it all on the one shot that matters, as we have seen multiple times in this playoff run with Haliburton, you know, those shots wouldn't have been as cool if there wasn't a clock about to hit 0 and the whole fate is on make or miss. The one thing that the E-line ending to kind of miss a little bit, the E-line ending, the Elam ending, is that the failure doesn't matter as much. If you take the buzzer beater and it doesn't go in, then the next person has a chance. But like that, like in the movie, everybody's looking in the air and the ball's in slow motion. Like, you know, it's the stakes, right? Yes. Like a good movie, you know, the big heroic action at the end doesn't matter unless the audience believes that there are stakes. And so the stakes of making it as glory, but missing it as disaster is part of what makes the buzzer beater so good. So I just talked myself out of the Elam ending. There you go. I'm back to the regular rules. You got to have the clock. It's got to matter. Missing's got to be failure.
Other pro league stuff that I considered for this, but ultimately said the NBA's got it fine. The G League does until the final 2 minutes of a half, one free throw for the number of points that you'd get if you made it both.
Right.
I'm kind of like, it's fine. The speed of the game is better, but like, I don't know if it's actually better. It just is different. The WNBA. I don't. Go ahead.
Oh, real quick, just to that, I don't understand why they don't just force substitutions before the shots and then make them take 2 in quick succession.
What?
Well, because like you get to the free throw line, you take the first shot, and then they can make subs, and then they make
only
subs.
One shot.
What's that? No, but no. I'm sorry. I said it too quickly. I mean, to fix how the NBA currently is.
Oh, yes.
The one shot's to speed it up.
Yes.
But like the thing that the one shot is really solving is that you have to make substitutions before that shot. That's what slows everything down. And so then it's like once you get to the shot, you get 10 seconds per shot. They should just make you forced to do all subs and changes before the first shot. And then you got 10 seconds. And then you make the first one, just fire it back, and then you have 20 total seconds to take 2 shots or whatever it is. That's the thing that makes it so slow. So I think keep the total number of shots, but
I agree.
Just make them go.
To get it back to the Pacers, it would hurt Rick Carlisle, who loves the mid free throw ice the kicker timeout. He is a honest in the league at that. But here's like free throws are boring. That's the other part of it. Even about not the time part. Like when I rewatch a game, I get the free throws and I just click my right arrow 4 times and then it's over.
Yes.
So that's the other part of it is like it is less boring, but it's not that much better. The WNBA has a reset timeout. Do you know about this?
No.
In the final minute, I might miss a small detail of like final 2 minutes instead or something like that. But basically, final minute of a game, you get a timeout that you don't get to come to your bench and talk or anything like that. It literally just resets the game. You can sub and you get a side out. So like the right players are on the floor for a defensive or offensive situation. It is kind of nice. Like it's not like you get the better players on the floor to make the moment in theory better, but stopping the game in those moments does relieve some of the tensity sometimes. It is not a bad thing, but I like what the NBA does better.
Yeah. But that's a good idea in general. I like it.
It is a good idea. I don't think it's a bad thing, to be clear, but I like the how it is in the NBA, where it's like you got to consider, well, if we score, we're gonna have a bad defensive lineup on the floor. Like, all sorts of interesting stuff. You do not get unlimited reset timeouts. The W also has your lottery record is the last 2 seasons of play, and sometimes I like it, and other times, like it really benefited the Fever when they went 5-31, and that's when it sucks. It's like one just dismal year, you just like have it, right? So I think I like the NBA's better, but that one's close. That is the end of my list of rules that I typed down to talk about.
Yeah. So that's kind of an off-season thing. I've always liked the idea of a mandatory waiting period if you get the number 1 pick.
To get it again?
To get it again, yeah. Or to have some sort of cascading set of dulling of your lottery odds if you're back in the lottery multiple times.
I like that. I did a solving tanking show a few weeks ago, and I got a good comment about that. That's like if you get a lottery pick, one of the top 4 that's actually drawn, you can't for X number of years, or your ceiling the next year's like 8 or something. I do like that idea.
Yeah. And then it also would be interesting. Teams can decline their lottery balls in a particular year they like.
Yeah, true.
And so then, if they think it's a particularly weak draft and they don't want to be in the top 4 and they want to save that win for later, I think that they should also have the ability to do that. And that would be fascinating, I think, if a lot of teams sort of punted the lottery.
I pitched my anti-tanking idea in our basketball chat a long time ago, and you all tried to poke a million holes in it. So I'm not going to do that again right now, but I still think it would work. This was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say maybe that's the next pod.
I did it already. Some people liked it. Okay. Some people were like,
some people liked it.
I don't get it. There's just too many games where a team does not want to win in the NBA. And that is not a rule for the sake of what we're talking about today, but a thing the league needs to figure out, certainly. One more rule change. Sorry.
Okay.
You should be allowed to sign a contract that pays you to do nothing as long as the company plants some trees to circumvent the salary cap. That is a rule I would add to the NBA. Listen to Locked On Clippers for more on that. Both fashion. I cannot consume enough Kawhi Leonard stuff right now. It is so interesting to me. Every time I hear something new, I'm like, oh, they have a good point. Maybe I'm wrong. And then I hear something else. I'm like, oh, never mind. I was right. It's so interesting. Don't circumvent the salary cap, teams. I like the salary cap. It's interesting. Dave, this was very fun. I hope we've made a better league for everybody with our match play, no charge, better blocks, better closeouts, and better rule enforcement league. Where can people find you to tell you about all your stupid rules and all Tony's great rules?
Twitter, sure. That's fine. Probably. Sporadically.
The People's app. Yeah, it's not a good time on there recently.
No.
Good time. The Colts are buzzing. The Fever playing playoff games. Actually, this is not coming out till Wednesday, but there's lots of good sports commentary on the People's app, including the Miller Time podcast feed, Miller Time pod feed. I just got it wrong. We'll be back tomorrow here talking about the Pacers shooting guards and their upcoming season, unless big news happens between now and then. In that case, we'll get to that. You can find me at Tony R. East on whatever social media platform you're on. This podcast is on wherever you get podcasts, and YouTube. Like I said, YouTube is a good way to consume this, to watch Dave act out all of these rules. Thank you all so much for listening. See you very soon.